Remember me? Hey guys, it's Kayla and this is On the Fritz, where I talk about bookish things in a bottom shelf manner, so to speak. So today I'm doing my July TBR. In July, I'm participating in Tome Infinity and Beyond, round 4. This is a sci-fi readathon. This is round 4. I participated in all 4 rounds. This round, it is all month long, and the theme is that we are out in space and we are kind of discovering new planets, new planet-like things, and those represent a book prompt. And once you finish a book or a prompt, you get to color in and name this new location on a coloring sheet. Woo! There's also like a rocket coloring sheet. So this has been created by Meg from Meg's Infinite Booklist, and she has a bunch of other sci-fi co-hosts. I'll have information down below as well as her video if you're curious, or if you're interested in finding new sci-fi booktubers to watch. So I'm not going to go over all the prompts. Basically, I looked at the prompts and I looked at what books I want to read and what books I have access to. So our libraries are still kind of closed due to Corona, so I just have access to ebooks. I haven't been interested in listening to audiobooks for some time, and the ebook wait lists are insane now because the libraries, you can't get any physical copies. So I kind of looked at what was available, what I could grab now, what I could maybe grab later, and I curated a loose TBR that once I finish the book, I'll go back at the prompts and check off all the prompts that I can and color and do the fun things that this readathon was designed to do. So a little about me and my sci-fi reading tastes. My sci-fi enjoyment comes from comic books, short stories, sci-fi romance, and like movies and television. So I'm not a huge, large novella sci-fi reader. I have a bunch on my TBR. I just haven't been interested in reading any kind of lengthy novel for some time, I'm sure you can understand. So that's what you'll see, a reoccurring theme here on my TBR, just to give you a snippet about my reading taste related to science fiction. Okay, so first up I have The AI Who Loved Me by Alyssa Cole. I'm so excited to read this. This is a sci-fi romance. This was originally written for audio only, so it was like an Audible exclusive. Now it was on ebook. I snagged it. I heard that it's going to be turned into a series, or at least have a sequel to it, but from the title I'm sure you can imagine what this is about. This is just a sci-fi romance where there's an AI involved. AI is my favorite category or subgenre of science fiction, and romance. I love romance. I love sci-fi romance. I love alien romance. So this is kind of a perfect blend of some of my favorite genres and tropes mixed together. I also haven't read anything by Alyssa Cole yet, and I've heard that she thrives with novellas. So I'm really excited to read this. Next I have is Clean Room by Gail Simone and illustrated by John Davis Hunt. So I read volume 1 like a year ago, and this is a 3-volume series. I do want to reread volume 1 and try to continue on and finish the series in July. Trying to explain this is really hard, but the genre is like sci-fi horror, and what this basically is about is there's this clean room, there's this location that you can go into and you can kind of live out your worst fears. And there's like a journalist involved who is suspicious about this organization that has this technology. Her boyfriend or fiance or someone just killed himself, and so she's trying to figure out if they're to blame or what's really going on with this clean room things. It's kind of not an alternate reality, but like maybe like a new dimension type thing. Like there are things among us that not everyone can see, but some people can see, and that's kind of what the clean room is about. It was really good. It's really weird, beautiful artwork, and I'm excited to wrap it up. The other comic series I want to read in July, at least start. I don't think I can binge this whole series, but is East of West by Jonathan Hickman and illustrated by Nick Dragotta. This is a very popular, well-loved sci-fi horror comic series. It's basically post-apocalyptic, and it involves the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. That's about all I know. I haven't been spoiled for anything that happens, and I'm pretty sure when I was checking out volumes, I think it recently just ended single issue wise, and the final volume is published in July. So I'm kind of reading and wrapping it up right at the perfect time that it's actually ending print wise. Okay, so my only classic, I'm pretty sure it's considered a classic, and that is, I actually have a physical copy of this. This is A Princess of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs. I got this for, there's gonna be like a John Carter readathon, and I didn't end up picking this up. Didn't follow through with that, but I really want to read this. This is just kind of a classic sci-fi. There's a princess and romance involved. I've never seen the John Carter movie. I really actually don't know the story, but I love these covers, and I want to give this kind of subgenre of science fiction a try. I have the first 4 or 5 books in this series. I do want to collect this edition. So that's something fun that I get to look out for when I go thrifting. But yeah, look at that cover. Back to some novellas. I have All System Red by Martha Wells. This is a sci-fi novella series. I know I have access to the first book. I'm not sure how many I'll probably end up bringing, probably just the first book. But this one I just know that it's robots, AIs, that kind of thing. And like I said before, that is my favorite subgenre or plot device in science fiction. Another novella is The Test by Sylvain Neuvel. This one was on the short list for the SFF Awards. It's on Hoopla, so I know I can snag that on audio. Again, I've been having problems with audio, but the only thing I know that this is about is that it's about this person that goes to a DMV office, I think, and like some really weird things happen. Heard great reviews about this. I'm excited to dive in. Okay, back to sci-fi romance. I have Captive Desire by Robin Lovett. This is book 2 in the Sex Planet series. And basically, this is a very steamy, sexy, sci-fi alien romance series where people have crash landed on this planet that like radiates, and you know, things happen because of that. Definitely don't recommend this for everyone, but if you are a romance reader, are you into sexy alien romance, definitely check this out. Book 4 is coming out in July. I snagged an arc on NetGalley. Thank you, Izzy. And book 1 is free on Amazon, and then book 2 and 3 are like reduced by like a couple dollars on Amazon if you are interested in grabbing this series. It's really good, very steamy, action-packed, very unique as far as the realm of alien romance goes from what I've read. Okay, next I have Polaris Rising by Jessie, Mihalik. Ooh, excuse me. This is a sci-fi romance trilogy, and it's more on the sci-fi ends of things versus like alien romance. I believe it follows the same protagonist throughout the 3 books, so it doesn't just follow couples or more than couples. I really don't know much about this. I've just seen it all over Instagram, all over Goodreads, and it seems that a lot of people that have similar reading tastes than me really do like this series. There was another sci-fi romance trilogy that I wanted to read, but I don't have access to those books, so I decided to go with this one. I'm gonna start another series. At least it's 3 books. The 3rd book I think just came out the end of last year, so it's a recently wrapped up, I'm pretty sure it was just a trilogy, wrapped up trilogy. I think this one's just more of a, you know, a space opera type book with romance involved. Okay, next I have is Reborn Yesterday by Tessa Bailey. This is a paranormal sci-fi romance. So the thing here is that this is like a time travel romance. So this one I'm kind of slipping in a little bit. I haven't read anything by Tessa Bailey. She is a well-known contemporary romance author, and I haven't read from her yet. I'm not a huge contemporary reader. I read basically everything else but contemporary. So I'm excited to try this author, and I'm excited to read a time travel romance. I actually haven't read like a time travel romance since The Time Traveler's Wife, way pre-booktube, a long time ago. The 2nd book in the series, I'm not sure how many books are going to be in there, just came out as well. So that was just a reminder to pick this book up, and I do have it available from my library. A couple more novellas that are on my radar. I have This Is How You Lose a Time War by El-Mohtar. This is another one that was on that booktube SFF shortlist. This one I'm so excited about, and I've had it pop up from my holds, and I just was not in the mood for sci-fi. But this is basically about these 2 women who are kind of the police of time jumping, or like time warps, or alternate realities, something like that. Similar to kind of like the police officers in the Umbrella Academy. It's like where they monitor to prevent the butterfly effect type thing. I think those are the same type of people. And they fall in love, or they have a chemistry, and then they're trying to either get back together, or they're trying to change, like something happens and they're trying to like get back to each other or something like that. I think that's the vibe I get. Regardless, it does involve like alternate realities, which is another subgenre plot device I love, love, love in science fiction. Again, heard great things about this one. Love sci-fi novellas. Excited to finally read this. I also want to wrap up finally the last novella I have in the Forward collection by Amazon. So the last one is Randomize by Andy Weir. I do not know. I don't know what any of these novellas were about before reading them. I just dove in. I just knew I wanted to read them. So this is the final book in a novella series, I want to call it, but it's more like but you don't have to read them in order. They're not interconnected. They're not in the same universe. They're just all sci-fi novellas written by people, famous authors in the sci-fi community. I started this like at least a year ago, and I still remember each novella very clearly. So while I have different opinions and different favorites, this curation by Blake Crouch is amazing, and I hope that they do something similar in the future. Love the idea, but this is the last novella in that series. Okay, a couple other things are on my radar. I have The Troop by Nick Cutter. This is horror, but it has like a speculative sci-fi element. Basically, it's like these Boy Scouts they're out camping, and something starts to like pick them off one by one, basically, or something attacks them, and that horror element is kind of sci-fi related. So I'm kind of counting it sci-fi horror. I love so much. This is a book I've had on hand, and this is something that, you know, may want to pick up. Okay, and the last thing I have is Galactic Holiday. I won this from Anna Hackett, who is an Australian sci-fi romance author. And this is basically 3 sci-fi alien holiday romances. Some of my friends are doing Christmas in July on Instagram and YouTube, and so I thought it'd be fun to kind of get 2 birds with 1 stone, doing Tome Infinity, and also kind of getting a few points for Christmas in July by reading either one of these stories or all 3 of these stories. So I was so excited to get this. Not sure if these, oftentimes when you get a holiday novella, it feeds into some other series, so I'm not sure the details about that, but oftentimes with novellas you can pick it up and just enjoy it for what it is. Okay, so that's my tentative July TBR. I am a big mood reader, so who knows what I will and will not pick up from this list, and who knows what will make their way into my reading that I haven't even thought of yet. Thanks for watching. It's been a while. Consider subscribing if you don't mind the hot mess that is me. I have my social media things down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.